Okay.
Hey, everybody. This is one of my dearest, most inspirational friends, Miss Maria Spears. She is going to tell us a lot and a little about how we can change our stinking thinking and how we can have a better mindset. So go ahead, Maria, and start off telling us all about what a beautiful job that you do and what you do for this community and the world.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much. I have so much admiration and just love you to pieces. So this is such a joy for me to get to have this conversation with you today. But yeah, I've been involved in coaching of some capacity for the last 20 years. I did personal training and nutrition because the whole health coaching thing was a big part of my life. And it was funny because I always had people, when we were done with their training sessions, they're like, thanks, life coach. Appreciate it. We just covered all the things, not just their workout. And over the years, definitely did a lot of just personal development for myself. I'm very growth minded. I think you have to be in this day and age if you want to succeed in life. And really started digging into a lot of just the brain work and the neuroscience, and ended up getting connected with a program called the Women's School, and it's a 6-month course that I met the founder of it, January Donovan, years ago, and she kept at different points saying, "Hey, come join me. Come do what I'm doing with just helping women." And and I kind of put it off. Wasn't good timing, and then finally last year I still love the health and fitness field and nutrition, and love the health coaching, but I just kept feeling, I noticed a lot of times I was bringing in a lot of other elements, particularly with the mindset and just more of a holistic mode. And I wanted to do something more with that. And so then when I looked at this program, I was like, oh my gosh, this incorporates all of it. We've got the neuroscience part of it. We've got working with women as a whole person. So it's not just one element of growth.
So that being said, a lot of the a lot of the things that you offer, a lot of the advice that you offer, with your coaching specifically, it's geared directly toward women. However, there's a lot of things that you and I have talked about that can be applied to men as well, because it's one of those things that having more of a positive attitude and a positive outlook, some things that we've talked about in other interviews have been writing it down, giving yourself a focus, creating something that gives you more of a sense of direction.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I do work the majority with women, but I actually also have a couple men that I work with as well, just because the concepts that we teach, everybody needs. Because what we don't realize is that, what we focus on, where focus goes, energy flows, right? Well, when something, traumatic or bad or frustrating happens in our life, what do? A lot of times we go right towards that. Well, the more we think about that, we actually wire that thought in our mind, which our thoughts create our emotions. So if we are thinking, oh my gosh, life is terrible, I just, I lost my job, or, we're in COVID, or whatever the thing is, if we're just focusing on all the bad thing, we're going to feel really bad, right? And when we feel bad, what behavior stems from that? Typically, it's not very life-giving behavior. Usually it's, we don't get out of bed, or we are drinking every night, we're doing all the different things, rather than if we could shift that thought and choose a different one, because we have anywhere between 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, and the majority of those, unless we're intentional, are actually very negative. Yeah. But we actually have control of that, so we're not a victim. And that is a whole different mentality, because most of us, when something happens, we go into victim mode, and we lose our power.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. And something that we've all discussed together as a sports community, specifically in the minor leagues right now, we've taken a significant loss emotionally this year. And it's something we've kind of all journeyed together. And I've had discussions with people like Corey Bass and Eric Lesniak and some of the other owners and managers and employees. They've all said the same thing. They feel like they've been absolutely robbed of all of their hard work, all of their efforts,
Yeah.
and especially robbed of that moment where during the first 30 seconds of the national anthem being sung, you as a employee close your eyes, you take a deep breath, and you realize, okay, I did it. We made it here to opening day. Here we are. What's our next? And then you open your eyes again and go, okay, it's game time. Let's make this happen. So from a coping standpoint, what are some tips that you have?
Mhm.
If all of us were your clients, where would you suggest we even begin to process emotionally and mentally what we've done?
Yeah. So first of all, one of the things that when I first start working with a client, one of the first things we do is I have them have a little log during the week, and I say, start thinking about what you're thinking about, because we're having so many thoughts during our day, and a lot of times, if I ask you when was the last time you thought about what you were thinking about, if you hadn't worked with me before, you probably hadn't, or worked with another coach, you probably had never thought about that. So that's a starting point. And I say, pay attention. What are maybe the top 5 to 10 thoughts you're having? And are they negative or positive? Are they something that you come out and you think that, and gosh, you feel confident and like, yes, I'm owning this? Or is it ones that you're like, okay, I actually want to go back to bed. I don't even feel like getting up in the morning? And so we start with that. The other thing, if they're in just a massive stress mode, and a lot of people are, particularly with job losses and so many things not happening how we thought they would, is I actually take them through a process that I like to call PTSD. And I say that with also with compassion, because I don't want someone who does suffer from PTSD to think that this is to negate the depth of their suffering. But I have found that that acronym can actually be used in a beautiful, positive way. And so what that is, so the P is praise and thanks. So basically, you are focusing on what are the good things. I am grateful, because gratitude, praising and thanking for good things, that literally shifts your brain. Your brain can't hold on to stress, anxiety, etc. And gratitude at the same time. The one in your brain literally will cancel out the other. So we start with that. The T is take your thought captive. What is that thought? Our thoughts, they'll kind of bully us if we if we let them. If that thought is not a thought that is serving you and helping you to show up in your best self, then it does not need to be there. So choose a replacement thought. And I tell my clients, you almost, sometimes you try on a thought like you try on a pair of jeans. Try on the thought. How does that thought make you feel? Does it make you feel confident? Does it make you feel like, hey, this is amazing, life is okay? Or does it make you feel, oh gosh, I don't feel like I can get through my next moment? So take that thought. S is serve. So when we are in stress mode and frustration mode, a lot of times it actually makes us selfish. And that's just a brain thing. It's a neuroscience thing. And so if we can start to come out of ourselves when we're in that mode, then it shifts our energy. It shifts even the neurotransmitters that's going to work for us in our brain, in our body. So serve. And then D is dream. And I incorporate that in there. And with the dream, start to think about, okay, what do I want? Right? Maybe this didn't happen the way I wanted, but what if this, even shifting that narrative, life is happening for me, not to me. This is all happening because something amazing is actually lining up for my life. Dream it, believe it, think that, and start walking into that. Because again, even our thoughts have like a frequency about them, and there's an energy with those thoughts. They know that even our heart has an energy they can measure, and so our thoughts really impact so many areas of our life. And a lot of times we just let ourselves be a victim to it. So that PTSD, so praise, thanks, that gratitude. T, take that thought captive. S, serve. And D, dream.
Oh, that's fantastic. I was taking notes too as you were writing. So I can make sure that I'll have all this written out too on the blog when I actually post it. So, you talked a little bit about taking your thoughts captive and creating and holding on to that mindset on how you fix what your thought process is. How do you even begin to do that? Because it sounds so simple, but it can be really overwhelming when you are in a place where you don't know how to get out of your own way.
Oh my
So
goodness.
how do you even start?
Yeah. So first of all, there is a lot of really good science between writing and your brain. So what I have my clients do is every morning they're going to write out 10 gratitudes, and then they're going to write out the vision of what they would like to be going on in their life. So for example, I am so happy and grateful now that I am, and then you write it in the present tense, whatever that is. I am working for a major league baseball team. I have the best coworkers. We're super successful. I'm making X amount of whatever, write that out, whatever your dream is. And then when you notice that there are certain thoughts that, because we've already kind of taken this log, we know what some of those main thoughts are, write out the replacement thoughts. So for example, if your thought is, gosh, life is just terrible, like life's killing me, then I would write, my script for that would be, life is happening for me, not to me. And I would literally write it out, a couple times in the morning, maybe 3 to 5 times. I would put a post-it of it in my bathroom mirror, in my car, places where I'll see it. I actually have some clients who I'll actually have them set their alarm during the day, and they have a little 3x5 card, and they'll write, maybe they got 5 replacement thoughts, for example, so whatever your main thoughts are. And, their alarm goes off at like 9, 12, 3, 6, and they will take out their card and they'll read it out loud. Life is happening for me, not to me. I love my life. I'm making a difference right now. Whatever you notice that your thought replacements need to be. And again, you try on those thought replacements by take a minute to sit for a minute. Okay, if I think that, do I feel that? Can I feel that in my body? And sometimes, because thoughts can be sticky, it can take a while. It takes typically about 66 days to really hardwire a new thought. So don't be discouraged when you're 10 days in and you're like, I can't help it. It keeps going back. Our brain actually, those neurons, like it's a process for the new ones to grow. The way I like to describe it, it's as if, when they're building a house and you've had the tractor fixing out the grass area and you can see where they've gone back and forth in those deep ruts. That's like what our thoughts do in our brain, right? So if you've been thinking the same negative thought, it's a deep rut, okay? So to replace that, it takes time for that rut to go down and for that replacement one to start to create a new deep rut itself. So just be patient with the process, but be consistent. And that is, get an accountability buddy with that. Work with a coach, where you have that accountability. A lot of my people, they shoot me a text every day. It said, hey, did my gratitudes, did my scripts, here's where I am.
No, I think that makes a big difference. And, this is the first year, ironically, that I haven't created a vision board, that I didn't end up doing everything where, my 30, 60, 90, 6 months, a year goal of where I am from here to there would be. And I think it's absolutely affected where my goals are and where my vision is and so forth. So I think you're absolutely correct. And I agree with you. Writing it down and taking ownership of, okay, I need to do this. I need to sit down. I need to make an effort to be for me. Yes. Because if you aren't, it's very similar to a relationship. You can't jump relationship to relationship because you're going to continue to make the same mistakes. So if you can fix what it is that maybe that negative thought or, COVID did this, COVID did that, stop the blame game, start pulling into yourself and thinking and changing how you are and what you do. I really appreciate all of your insight because it's been fantastic. Now, tell us a little bit more, if you had one thing, if you could break down all these tips into one phrase that you could use as a logo, what would it be?
Oh, good question. Manage your mind and own your life.
I love it. Manage your mind and own your life.
Yeah.
We're all about logos and fun games and fun things in the baseball industry and in many minor league level things, but especially in baseball, we always try to find something super creative. So, I appreciate that. That could be a really fun logo too.
I like
but
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and put all of your contact information. So if people want to reach out, and, Maria has a beyond wealth of knowledge and expertise, and has been a personal friend of mine, but also has given me some unbelievable inspiration on how to be a better version of myself. So I strongly encourage you, if you are listening all the way through this, reach out to Maria, see what you can do, and maybe she can help you change your stinking thinking, and we'll go from there. So again, Maria, thank you so much. It's been an honor having you do this with me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Allison. It's been a joy and an honor for me as well.